Hi, I'm Levi. All that grinding at Wallace Marketing for 6 years finally paid off when I bought my beach house in Newport last summer. Nothing fancy, but it's mine, or was until yesterday. I was grabbing coffee with Marcus at our usual spot when he noticed something off about me. Dude, you look like you haven't slept in days. That Henderson campaign eating you alive? Nah, just stayed up late watching the game. Olivia keeps telling me I need better sleep habits. Smart woman. When are you bringing her to poker night? Friday if she doesn't bail. Hospital shifts are brutal this month. My phone buzzed. Speaking of brutal, it's my mom. I hesitated before answering. Since Sandra married Richard 5 years ago, our relationship had been complicated. Richard was one of those guys who'd made it by cutting corners, the type who brags about his connections while borrowing money he never returns. Hey, Mom, what's up? Honey, I need you to pack a bag and come over. What? Why? There's been a situation with your beach house and your car? My stomach dropped. What situation? Richard and I had to sell them. The money's been transferred to our account. The coffee shop noise faded away. You what? Sweetie, we had no choice. Richard's business partners backed out and we were going to lose everything. Mom, that's my house, my car. You can't just... The papers are already signed. We need you to clear out your things by Friday. Marcus was staring at me, mouthing, "What's wrong?" This is illegal. You can't sell my property. We're family, Levi. Family helps each other. I hung up and slammed my phone down. Whoa, easy. Marcus grabbed my wrist. What happened? My mom and Richard somehow sold my beach house and my car. They're saying I need to clear out by Friday. That's impossible. How could they even do that? Then it hit me. The family dinner last month. Richard asking to use my office to make a quick business call while I help Mom in the kitchen, my filing cabinet, the safe with my property documents. The dinner. They got into my paperwork when I wasn't looking. I called Olivia immediately. They did what? Levi, that's straight up theft. I know, I don't even understand how they pulled it off. You need a lawyer like yesterday. My cousin Claire specializes in property law. I'm texting you her number now. Marcus was already on his laptop. I'm checking the property records. Holy shit, there was a transfer filed yesterday. How did they forge your signature? I remembered Richard asking me to sign a birthday card for his sister. He'd had several papers underneath it. I'm such an idiot. I think I actually signed something without realizing. This is next level betrayal, man, Marcus said, shaking his head. What are you going to do? First, I'm going to figure out exactly what they did. Then I'm going to make them regret ever touching what's mine. I spent the next morning combing through my home office, checking if any other documents were missing. My filing system was slightly disorganized, something Sandra always criticized. Any luck? Marcus asked, helping me sort through papers. Look at this. I held up a document. This is a copy of my property deed I kept separately. The signature on the transfer paperwork is similar, but definitely not mine. Someone tried to mimic it. That's solid evidence, man. But who would know your signature well enough? My phone buzzed with a text from an unknown number. I know what they did. Meet me at Harborview Coffee at 2. Vanessa. Who's Vanessa? Richard's daughter. We've only met a few times at family events. She's always seemed distant. Vanessa was already waiting when I arrived. Designer sunglasses, perfectly styled hair, expensive watch. The family resemblance to Richard was undeniable. Thanks for coming. She glanced around nervously. Dad doesn't know I'm here. What's going on, Vanessa? They're broke, Levi, like completely underwater. Dad's business has been failing for years. He's been taking loans from sketchy people. So they stole my property instead of asking for help? Dad would never ask. His pride wouldn't allow it. She pulled out her phone. I found these on his computer. Screenshots of my bank statements, photos of my signature, emails discussing the sales. How did you get these? I overheard them fighting about it. Mom was crying, saying they'd go to jail. Dad said no one would ever know. Why are you showing me this? Because it's wrong. She hesitated. And because they did the same thing to me last year with my trust fund. I was too scared to fight back. Later, I met with Claire at her downtown office. Olivia joined us for support. Based on what you've shown me, this is cut and dry. Claire laid out the documents. Forgery, identity theft, fraudulent property transfer. They've committed multiple felonies. Can we get the properties back? Absolutely. But there's a complication. They've already sold the beach house to a third party who appears to be innocent. Your car is gone too, sold at auction. So what do we do? We file for an emergency injunction, then press criminal charges. But Levi, these are serious charges against your mother. Are you prepared for that? They didn't think twice about stealing everything I worked for. Olivia squeezed my hand. We're with you, whatever you decide. There's something else you should know, Claire said. I ran a background check on Richard. This isn't his first rodeo. He has a pattern of financial misconduct stretching back decades, multiple bankruptcies, lawsuits, even a suspended sentence for fraud in Arizona. How did my mom end up with this guy? Con men are charming, Marcus said. No offense. We need more evidence, Claire advised. Recordings, witnesses, anything to strengthen the case. Vanessa might help, I suggested. Perfect, and Levi, don't confront them yet. The element of surprise is crucial. What about my stuff at the beach house? We'll handle that. For now, play along. Act defeated. Let them think they've won. I'm not good at faking it, Marcus laughed. Remember when you convinced the entire office you were moving to Alaska? You can do this. This isn't just about getting your property back, Claire warned. People who commit fraud rarely stop at one victim. We need to make sure they can't do this to anyone else. I called Sandra the next day, choking back my anger. Hey, Mom, I've been thinking about everything. I understand you guys were in a tough spot. Oh, sweetie, I knew you'd come around. Richard and I were just trying to protect the family. I know. Listen, can we meet for lunch tomorrow? I want to talk about some things. Of course, the club at noon? The country club where Richard loved showing off. Perfect. When I arrived, Sandra and Richard were already seated on the patio. I had my phone recording in my pocket. There's my boy. Richard stood up for an awkward hug. No hard feelings, right? Sometimes family has to make tough calls. I get it. Actually, I wanted to talk to you about a new investment opportunity at work. Richard's eyes lit up. What kind of opportunity? Early access to an app startup before they go public. My company's handling their marketing and the CEO offered me first dibs. I thought of you guys immediately. That's incredibly generous after everything, Sandra said, looking surprised. Family helps family, right? That's what you said. How much are we talking? Richard leaned forward. Minimum buy-in is $50,000. Returns expected to triple within 6 months. We could definitely move some funds around, Richard said, already calculating. What's the company called? Vertex AI. I can send details, but it's time sensitive. They need commitments by Friday. Later, I met with Vanessa and her ex-boyfriend Tyler at a dive bar across town. Tyler worked for one of Dad's companies, Vanessa explained. He saw everything. Tyler was nervous, constantly checking the door. Your stepdad ruined my credit and nearly got me arrested. I've been waiting for a chance to set things right. What exactly did you see? I asked. Falsified loan documents, shell companies, investor money disappearing. Richard has a system. He finds people with assets, builds trust, then manufactures a crisis that requires quick liquidation. Did he ever get caught? Almost. In Phoenix, an investor hired a private investigator. Richard paid him off and moved to Seattle the next week. That's where he met your mom. I need documentation, Tyler, anything you still have. I kept everything as insurance. He slid a flash drive across the table. Bank statements, emails, recorded calls. I was afraid he'd come after me someday. The next morning, I brought everything to Claire's office. Marcus and Olivia came for support. This is gold, Claire said, reviewing the files. With Tyler's testimony and these documents, we've got a pattern of criminal behavior. What about Sandra? Olivia asked. Is she legally culpable too? Based on these signatures, absolutely. She's been involved in multiple transactions. Richard's birthday party is this Saturday, I said. They've invited everyone they know, important people who should see who they really are. A public confrontation is risky, Claire warned. But effective, Marcus countered. They care about appearances more than anything. I want them to feel what I felt. The shock, the betrayal, the public humiliation. I've contacted the police, Claire said. They're ready to move once we file formal charges. I have a judge who will sign the warrants immediately. There's one more thing, Vanessa said, joining us later. Dad's planning to leave the country Sunday. I saw first-class tickets to the Caymans on his laptop. Then Saturday's our only shot, I said. I've already RSVP'd. What if they suspect something? Olivia asked. They won't. Richard called me this morning asking for the investment paperwork. He's completely focused on that. The trap is set, Marcus said. Now we just need to spring it at exactly the right moment. Saturday night. I adjusted my tie while Marcus checked our equipment. Mic check. Can you hear me, Claire? Loud and clear, officers are in position. Richard and Sandra's mansion was packed with their social circle business associates, country club friends, and clueless family members. Levi! Sandra rushed over. Did you bring those investment papers? All ready to go. Let's talk after the toast. Richard was holding court near the staircase. There he is, my forward-thinking stepson. Levi here is bringing me in on a ground-floor tech investment. As Richard tapped his glass for a toast, I caught Vanessa's subtle nod across the room. Friends, family, thank you all for coming to celebrate another wonderful year. Actually, Richard, I'd like to say something. I connected my phone to the room's sound system. Of course, son, the floor is yours. I want to talk about family and trust. I clicked play. Richard and Sandra's voices filled the room. He'll never know we forged his signature. The money's already transferred. What if he figures it out? By the time he does, we'll be long gone. The room went completely silent. What is this? Richard's face hardened. This is the sound of you stealing my beach house and car. I have the forged documents right here, along with evidence of similar schemes in 3 other states. Sandra stepped forward. Levi, honey, you're misunderstanding. Am I misunderstanding this too? I played their conversation discussing the fake investment. Claire entered with 2 officers. Richard and Sandra Williams, you're under arrest for fraud, forgery, and grand theft. This is ridiculous. Richard backed away. We have testimony from multiple victims, Claire replied, including your daughter Vanessa. Vanessa stepped forward. You stole my trust fund last year, told me it was for my own good. The officers read them their rights as shocked guests watched. Richard's sister approached me. I always knew something wasn't right. I'm so sorry, Levi. 3 weeks later, I was back at my beach house. Claire had reversed the fraudulent sale. Nice place, Marcus said, helping me move back in. No wonder they wanted it. Olivia and Vanessa arrived with pizza and drinks. Our unlikely friendship had become one positive outcome from this mess. Heard from your mom? Vanessa asked. She's called from jail. I haven't answered. Do you think you ever will? I looked around at the people who had actually supported me. Some relationships aren't worth saving. I'm focusing on the ones that are. My phone rang with the jail's number again. I declined the call and turned it off. To new beginnings, Marcus raised his glass. We clinked glasses as the waves crashed against the shore. What would you do if you were in Levi's position? Would you completely cut off your mother forever? Or would you eventually allow her back into your life after what she did? Is blood family always worth a second chance? Or are some betrayals simply unforgivable? Share your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoyed this revenge story, hit that like button to help others find it too. Subscribe for more captivating stories about standing up to toxic people and the sweet taste of justice. New stories every day.